Shalom, shalom. First off, in all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh being true name for Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named for His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone that taught us the truth and will well, and citations to you, hopefully like pushing His truth and honesty, sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh coming to you now, lesson to the spirit power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. And this lesson is going to be quick through the spirit. We just had a very spiritual experience, great time with the Akim fellowshipping at the Lake of the Ozarks this weekend. And I just want to share this, man, because the Lord knows every need, and He deals with His servants, the prophets, and He answers prayers. Because what you're seeing on the screen here is a screenshot of the projected forecast. This was, I think we checked it last Wednesday. Okay, and we were seeing what the weather was going to be like when we were headed down there, just to kind of plan, around it. And as you can see, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the whole forecast is thunderstorms, rain and thunderstorms, man. So I remember, the brother Taziar, he made a comment. He's like, yeah, we ain't got to worry about the weather. Says, we're the prophets, man. The Lord gonna clear it up for us. And I didn't make it down there Friday, but the Akim did. They made it there, had a good time, weather clear. Okay, and Saturday, man. Saturday it actually cleared up enough to where it was probably closer to 80 degrees, sunny and hot, and the brothers were able to get into the pool, and chill it, and enjoy it, and as soon as they got in their vehicles and left the pool to go back to the spot, then the Lord bring the storms, man. So and it was just spiritual, man, because there was a lot of brothers that were kind of concerned if whether or not we were going to make it. I didn't know if I was going to make it because of work, and I just sent prayers up that I would make it, and there was a lot of hurdles and things coming up to try to stump that, but hey, all of us made it. And, one of the other brothers that just got into the St. Louis camp, he was a little bit concerned and, really wanted to make it too. We all sent up prayers that we would go enjoy it, and the Lord, cleared the way for us, man. So I just wanted to give that quick testimony on that. And tomorrow I'm going to be linking up one of the brothers so we can share both of our testimonies together, going into what we experienced, miracles while we were there. What we were seeing in the sky. Okay, so that's going to be heavy, so stay tuned for that. But I got a couple precepts. This is Revelation chapter 11. We'll start up another verse here. Let's see. We'll start at verse 3. Revelation 11, verse 3 says, "And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before Yahweh of earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will." Okay, so this is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel and the elect of those men that are chosen and raised up as prophets that's preaching this word. That's that fire that's proceeding out of their mouth. Okay, and these have power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. So the Lord is going to grant spiritual powers very soon. Was one thing was to take through the spirit from this trip that kind of stuck with me is that spiritual power is probably coming, man. Like I can just feel it. And what I mean by spiritual power, that means like the miracles are going to return to the disciples of the followers of who the world eagerly calls Christ. His name is Yahushai. Christ means Yahushua, a Mashiach in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. So Yahushai Mashiach is gonna come and return. And, upon his return, once it begins to approach, you're going to see the same gifts that were bestowed upon his direct disciples that followed him, they were able to do some of the miracles that he was doing. That's coming back. It's coming back, man. And just to see how the brothers would pray and get certain reactions. Like when we give that testimony tomorrow, we're gonna speak on that, man. You're gonna see it, man. But just things are just happen that are extremely heavy through the spirit, very heavy through the spirit, man. Brothers have avoided a lot of certain dangers, from praying. Weather being changed. Chariots popping up mid prayer. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on, man. The elder gave his testimony where him and his woman were arguing and she was going off and being wicked, and two angels appeared right in front of her, and she saw them on his left hand side and the right hand side. He didn't see them, but she saw them fully and gave detailed description of them, even having like golden wristbands, glowing with stones in them. How tall they were and how stern and serious their face were, that they were about to unalive her if she didn't get right at that moment. Stuff like that happening, and you starting to get testimonies, man. It's nuts, man. Okay, I gave the testimony. My mother had a dream of seeing the chariot return. She even had a dream seeing me getting beamed up into the chariot. So there's a lot of heavy things, and there's so much happening in the earth with prophecy. Like the miracles gotta be here any moment, because we're at the last tail egg of this thing. For the last people to come through to get their last chance into believing, and usually that's going to come from seeing the miracles. That's going to bring people in droves, and then you're going to have that mark of the beast that's going to be implemented, made mandatory, because they're going to want to stop us, and they're going to think they're going to be able to fight against the angels, and they're going to use their technology, and they're going to need that MOTB, that Revelation 13 and 16, in people, for them to think that they have a chance. So that's going to be, put forward very fast, and it's going to start expediting the moment that brothers start giving testimonies of actually performing miracles. And when we've seen just the weather itself, like being held back and stopping for us, man. I mean, perfect, crystal clear weather. The whole trip was perfect. Like it rained a little bit after the brothers left the pool while we were inside, and no longer needed to be outside. But anytime we went out or went anywhere, I mean, the weather was perfect. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, man. And I showed you the forecast, and the bro called it. He said, the Lord can, have faith. The Lord's going to clear up that weather for us, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. So, he says, the scripture says we have power to shut heaven. Why not the opposite, to open heaven, open up the clouds, move them out the way, the sun to come out, And then, we had brothers that drove from Columbus, Ohio, okay, St. Louis, Jefferson City, us in Kansas City were there. Brothers really traveled great distances to come fellowship and link up with each other, man. So the Lord saw that, and he said he's very pleased when we dwell in, and how happy it is to dwell in unity. Okay, so that was right there. It was like kind of a testimony of seeing a portion of spiritual power right there, for the weather to be held back until we got done. And I remember it raining for me on the way there, but as soon as I got there, it pretty much had stopped. Because I didn't go to the pool with the bros. I had my seeds with me, but man, they were telling me how the rain came when they left. When I got there, it pretty much stopped. And then the rest of the trip, man, the rest of the trip was drop dead gorgeous. The weather was good enough. I believe it was Sunday night to where, I took my kids at night to a resort, and we were swimming in a pool overlooking the water in the Ozarks, man. It was just beautiful, man. There was not a cloud in the sky, and we saw chariots after chariots after chariots the whole trip, man. So these times we getting in, the Lord is about to, shine upon us and reward us, man. And, I remember we were walking into a restaurant to go eat, and there was some, a table of people, and they pointed us and said, those are those guys, they recognized us, man. And we don't even really set up camp in the Ozarks. We usually just go to Jefferson City to do it, or or Kansas City downtown. But people, were kind of pointing. I went into a place to get some grow with my seeds, and a person, approached me, and she asked me. She was just, I guess, in shock and awe. I don't, we don't see what these other people see, but she was just kind of looking at me, and she said, hey, and she asked, she said, "Are you an NFL player?" I was like, "How in the fuck do I look like that, man?" But hey, but that's just an example, man. People are just dazed and just so in shock and awe of being around brother's presence, because the energy is shifting. The Lord says, he made kings upon earth, and he said, yeah, Hawashai personally would crown us when he says, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." He said he's going to put crowns upon our heads. So what does that mean? If you have a crown on your head, what does that make you? It makes you a king, okay? Young princes and kings. So that energy, can be felt amongst the public. Especially people don't have, demons on them at the moment. The Lord will reveal that. So hey, we're really close to our reward, and that power is coming, Akim. This is Matthew 6:8. It says, "Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him." So the Lord knows what we need before you even ask. So the Lord knows within our spirit what we needed for that trip, and the Lord provided. Every brother got what they needed. Everyone was fed. Everyone had money to do what they needed to do. It was beautiful, man. So the Lord knows exactly what we need. So you don't have to do vain repetitions like the scripture says in the same chapter of asking for the same things over and over. Sometimes you just need to ask for it one time and be confident and have trust and faith that you're going to receive it. If it's a spiritual thing that you inquired about, not no carnal stuff. Okay, if you're trying to say, "Oh, I need to hit the lottery," I mean, yeah, we all would need money like that. But okay, but asking for $1 million and then if you don't get it, you feel some type of way about it. That shit's stupid, man. That's not what you pray for. Okay. This is Philippians 4:19. It says, "But my God shall supply all your need according to his riches and the glory of Mashiach Yahushai." Okay, so he will supply everything that we need and take care of us. So even in times to come, when this place gets hit with a famine, and they run out, they actually do have fuel shortages here, and lockdowns and things like that get put back in place. The Lord is going to give us everything that we need. Us has been the followers, the disciples of Yahushai in this truth. The Hebrew Israelites that Akim out there laboring at the highways and hedges. Okay. And their families that support them, their wives that support them, the women that believe that support the ministry, the aged women as well, the direct immediate families of those Akim, all their needs are going to be taken care of. The rest of these wicked people, man, that's out here, trying to identify themselves as Christians, they then came across this message, they fanned their hand at it, they ignored it, just brushed it off their shoulders like it was nothing. All of them about to suffer greatly, man. And a lot of them can feel it that did reject this truth or quit that went the other way. A lot of them are scared within their spirits. All of a sudden brothers is getting phone calls that are being treated extra nice from family members that may have scoffed against them. Why? Because they see what we're saying is true, and now it's happening. They're terrified of this World War III approaching. They're terrified of everything, all the warnings we showed them. This in the news about that mark of the beast, man. What Elon Musk is doing and Trump. It's everywhere. So it is what it is, man. Hey, but only those that are believers in this, that was with us in the gym, okay, only those are going to get supplied everything that they need. Okay. This is the book of Matthew 17:20 says, "And Yahushua said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you should say unto this mountain, Remove hence to a yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." So you have to speak with authority and faith, just like the brother Taz did. He spoke with authority and faith that the weather going to be cleared up for us. And that authority and that faith, the angels heard it. And he answered that and says, "Yeah, yep, here you go." So the whole fellowship trip that we had, That was a reward for our labors. Brothers, really enjoyed themselves, and everybody was good in the spirit. Did an excellent sit down. You know, so you just gotta as a little bit of faith, man. But you want to try to have a lot of it. you know, have faith with authority. And be bold with it. Okay, because that's how the Lord deals within the spirit. And once you have that bold faith, and you just have that confirmation, and when you speak on it and say it's going to happen, and if it's a spiritual thing, lines up with the scriptures, then best believe it will happen. It definitely will happen, man. So just wanted to put that lesson out there, man. Quick faith boost, give a little bit of encouragement to the body. But I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Micracles. Double honor to our apostles, elders, great millstone, Tasha's truth and will well, and citation for light, pushing truth and honest sincerity. Shalom.